And I want to go to community activist, Jewish community activist Marnie Perlstein now for a reaction. Thanks for joining us again, Marnie. I know it's been such a difficult time and continues to be for the Jewish community, but seeing that support, knowing there's that widespread support out there, surely that is heartening.
Chris, I actually feel emotional hearing those messages. I'm not going to lie that our community has felt so alone and really scared, and somewhere between scared and depressed. So to hear messages like that and to know that they came in their hundreds is really incredible and gives me some faith that Australians really do understand that this is not just an issue about the Jewish community, but it's really an issue about Australian values and the erosion of Australian values. And I hope that everybody that sent a message, if they have a friend or family member who was on the Harbour Bridge on Sunday, that they can explain to those people what those ISIS flags and what the Taliban flags and the photos of the Ayatollah really mean. So thank you, Chris, for those messages. It will do a lot for our community.
When you understand the nature of that protest, and I'm not smearing everyone who went there, there will be useful idiots, if you like, people who just thought they're marching to stop a war, not knowing that they're marching alongside hate preachers and people who are going to be waving terrorist flags. But when we saw those things unfold, and we had the flag of the Ayatollah of Iran, his poster around the place, and when we had people chanting death, death to the IDF, yet the Prime Minister described it as peaceful. That is alarming, isn't it?
It's alarming and it's almost laughable. Obviously, the march was sold to the Supreme Court as a march for humanity, but I have to say that the government and the police force must have known that it was never going to be a real march for march for humanity, because a march for humanity could have included the Jewish community of Australia or of Sydney, and we could have marched together.
But instead, let me just jump in.
We could have been advocating for the Palestinians and the Israeli hostages at the same time, but the Jewish community was told to stay home. We were told to stay home for our own safety, and therefore there was a feeling that this march could be violent and aggressive. It was never a march for humanity. It was always an anti-Israel march, as was evidenced by what people could see on that bridge. And the real catastrophe is that it was not ideologically peaceful at all. Just because no one was physically injured does not mean it was a peaceful march. And I would say that the true tragedy of that march is that most people on that bridge may not have even been aware of what they were really marching for and where this country is really heading. It was a literal bridge that our community had to march to get one step closer to us becoming entrenched in very dangerous ideology. And I thought the whole thing was really scary.
Well said, Marnie. Apologies for trying to interrupt. I wanted to make sure you got to that point, and you did anyway, that the Jewish Australians were warned away. Just a terrible indictment of what unfolded. Thanks so much for joining us again. I appreciate it.